It's fall, so I figured I'd go through and show you how a few things are going, starting with this green bean tower. This was the one I planted, and I was calling it my final green bean planting of the season. It's doing really well. Let me show you some of the green beans that are growing. There's just so many. This one's actually a decent size, but I know it's going to get a lot bigger. A bunch there, a bunch in here of all sizes. This one and the one over here, they're gonna give me those beautiful purple dove green beans. So looking forward to a decent harvest this fall. Here is one of several red roselle, aka hibiscus. I'm gonna call them trees because they're so big, that are growing, and none of them are producing flowers at this point. So I don't know if I'm going to actually get a harvest. It's been, like, I guess unseasonably warm, so I don't know. We had a cold snap early in the spring. We went through rain and heat wave. I don't know if this plant is just exhausted or just, I don't know. We'll see. If you have any idea why it's not producing any flowers, please let me know. Here is the sunchoke plant. It still has lots of beautiful yellow flowers, but some of them are starting to die off, which means the plant is in its final days of blooming, and it also means we should be able to harvest within the next month. This is a raised bed where I have some beets growing. I have quite a few beets growing in here. None of them are super big yet. Hopefully they will get bigger, but I'm happy with the small ones too. There are some golden beets in here as well. I saw a decent one. I don't know where it is. But lots of beet greens. I'm gonna let them continue to grow. Very early in the season, I mentioned that I was having trouble getting my favorite hot pepper to germinate. This is that pepper. It's in its own raised bed all by itself. Well, several of them. Several of them are planted in this one bed because the pepper bed was already up and running by the time these finally germinated and got big enough to transplant outside. But the good news is I've been able to get quite a few peppers. Like this one here, I think is ready. Yep. Chocolate habanero. So happy I was able to get a harvest this season. This one could have stayed on longer, but that's okay. It'll still be delicious. The different petunias on this bed are still blooming. I do go through and deadhead whenever I think about it. Sometimes I don't at all, but they're still blooming, so happy about that. Not sure what happened here, but half of this bed of zinnias looks like snapped. So I'll leave it. I'll be out tomorrow to figure out what needs to be pulled and what's okay to stay. Look at this tower. This is where all the tromboncino squashes, those long, skinny squashes, were growing. But look at the base. Not sure why, but it decided it wanted to grow out this way, and so I let it. But this is the reason this hasn't been pulled yet, because I'm sure I'm going to pull something that this needs, so I'm just going to leave it. How on a tower that looks mostly like that do you get a beautiful, healthy vine like this? You gotta love it. There's a little bit of this and a little bit of that in this bed here. This here is a row of turnips, and it looks like they need to be fertilized. They definitely need some nitrogen. Over here is where the bulk of my, well, I shouldn't say the bulk of, the biggest celery plants that I had this season. That's where they're located. I did plant some seeds along here. Nothing did amazing. There's some spinach down there that's doing okay. We'll see what this bed gives us. These okra plants are doing the most. This one is at least, I'm going to say at least 9 feet maybe. And I have some okra pods that are ginormous. Let's see if I can show you these. I kind of thought they were done at that point and I would let these go to seed, but there's still flowers growing, so I don't know. This pepper tower has seen better days, but it still has lots of peppers, and it just got watered, so it's making a comeback from the brink of death. You know how dramatic they are, but I have lots of peppers growing. Some nice sized bell peppers, some smaller ones too. Here's a nice big one here. I'm gonna let it go all the way red. Here's another one. Remember I did that nice big harvest of lemon balm? Well, it's time for another one. This is another chocolate habanero plant. I've gotten lots of peppers. Well, I got a few peppers, not a lot from this one. But it has lots of flowers, so will I get more? I don't know. Here are some of the Egyptian walking onions. I did a big harvest and made green onion powder, a few weeks ago? And this is how much they've already grown back. I have some lettuce and green onions growing in this tower. I need to put more lettuce seeds in here. I feel like they're growing really slow. A lot of the squash leaves are kind of dying off, probably due to powdery mildew. But I do still have lots of squash growing. I'll be going around tomorrow to check to see if any are ready. But there's a cushaw, there's an ayote squash over there, another cushaw. I'm happy to see that they are starting to turn. They start off all green, and then the ayote starts to turn orange. I think I have one on the other side that may be close to ready. I'll check it. Most of my squash is planted in 2 little beds on each side of this trellis back here, which was a green bean trellis, and it's vining. Well, it's vining all the way on that side of the garden, but it's also vining up here, over here, this way, and all the way over there. And this is all pretty new growth. Here's one of the red roselle trees or shrubs that aren't doing very well. There's another one right here. They're doing okay. They're doing well enough that they should be blooming. Oh, wait a minute, hold on. The light is not in my favor, but you can probably see the silhouette. I actually see 2 calyces. Oh my goodness. I pulled it down just a little bit. Can you see them? Oh my goodness. Okay, now I'm excited. You probably can't see it, but I see a few more up there as well. There is hope. This was a late planting of potato from some very shriveled up seed potatoes I had left over after the spring garden. This was one of my main tomato beds with a bunch of basil, which I've been harvesting and making pesto, but apparently I need to make more. The main pepper bed over there, still producing, still overcrowded, but there are some paprika peppers that I need to harvest tomorrow and get on the grill so I can smoke them. Another red roselle hibiscus. Now I need to go closer so I can see if there are any calyces growing. I do see some up top, so I'm excited about that. Here is the other tomato bed, which is going to be difficult to get to right now. But tomorrow's going to be a big garden day, pulling things out, pruning. But this tomato bed, it just made a comeback. Both of my tomato beds were basically dying of blight, and look at all the green now. It's so much green, flowers blooming, and I don't know how well you can see it, there is a beautiful Dr. Wyche's tomato over there. Look at that. And yes, that is squash that has somehow made its way over here. I honestly don't know how it got over there. This pepper tower just got watered. It was being a little dramatic. Let me get up close so you can see these Chinese 5-color purple peppers. They're so cute. How pretty are these? I could have used these in my purple hot sauce experiment. You'll hear about that soon. There's some cayenne peppers on here. I need to grab some cherry peppers. And this, what I used to call an orange jalapeno, is really datil. Let me show you. Datil. They didn't do very well. I'm not sure they'll be in the garden next year, but the few that I have are pretty. I thought I'd come in and take a look at these paprika peppers. I guess I'm trying to decide if it's worth firing up the grill tomorrow. I think so. There's some ahi crystal peppers. There's everything. I see some jalapenos. I see a ripe one back there. I see some more paprikas hiding in there. Yeah, we'll be out here tomorrow harvesting and doing all the things. Hands down, our absolute favorite tomatoes. These are Sun Sugar. I'm just going to give it a quick rub on my shirt so I can eat them. So good. I still have a bunch of habaneros that are a nice size but haven't ripened yet. Can't wait to get those. This is a Cape gooseberry plant here, which is sister or brother to the ground cherries, the other regular ground cherries that I'm growing. I wanted to grow these because I heard they get bigger, and if this is any indication, then I will definitely be growing them next year. They didn't do great over here this year, but I see the potential. We had a very tumultuous, that's the best way I could describe it, season this year. Highs and lows. This eucalyptus plant is still doing well. If you recall, I did a nice harvest so I could dry some. I may get more, I don't know, or I may leave it. I think if I keep it warm enough, I'll be able to grow it again next year. So we'll see, or keep it alive, I should say. There's another one of those Illinois Cushaw squashes. It's a nice size. It's not nearly as big as the other ones yet. And this one, I'm not gonna go all the way over. I'll just zoom in. That's one of the ayote squashes. I thought it would be ready, but I'm gonna let it go all the way orange where you can't see any more green. I'm looking forward to trying that squash because I don't know if you've ever seen them. They have a green flesh inside instead of the standard orangish color. Sorry for all the shaking. There's gnats and mosquitoes trying to get me. Yeah, instead of the normal orangish color that you normally see in a winter squash, the flesh is like a dark, deep army green. And I hear it has a really interesting flavor, so I'm looking forward to that. I'm actually on the other side of the tomato bed I showed you, where I zoomed in and showed you that orange Dr. Wyche's tomato. Here it is from the other side, and look, there's more. And there's more back there. Can't wait to get out here tomorrow. There's another squash that took off since the last time I've been on this side. And here's what I want to show you over here though. All of this, let me zoom out some more if I can. From here to here, oh gosh, mosquitoes. All of that is my horseradish. And of course, there's a squash coming from somewhere. But anyway, this is starting to die back, the horseradish. So it means if I want to get some of the root this season, it's going to be a good time to get it soon. I'll let it die back a little more. When it dies back, it basically means the energy from the plant is going down into the root. And since the root is what I want it to be as nutritious as possible. So I'll wait a little longer. I feel like I'm in the dang jungle. A lot of this cleared out though. I couldn't even walk over here before. I came over here to show you the sweet potato bed, but look who's hanging out. Mr. Praying Mantis. I mentioned in the last update that we added more of these sticks to make the ring higher so the sweet potatoes would have more room to grow up. And it seems to be working out okay because, I mean, obviously the space is limited in a 4x8 bed and it needs some place to go. So we've just been kind of letting them pile up on top of one another, and they seem to like it. It seems really healthy still. So this experiment is going well. I will say though, lots of sweet potato leaves are escaping because it's just that many, and the rabbits haven't been bothering them. So I don't know if the rabbits have moved on for this season or what. They're not bothering them, so I'm happy. This is a bed I haven't really shared in detail a lot. This was kind of like my junk garden bed. There is a red roselle in the corner. There's Shasta daisies and black-eyed Susan, I believe, which were super tall during the spring season and gave us lots of beautiful flowers. And we cut them back. They're perennials, so we didn't dig them up. And they are already growing again. That goes to show you how unseasonably warm it's been. There's some volunteer borage coming up here. This was the bed I threw extra seedlings when I didn't have a place for them. That's how this okra plant ended up here. That's how these pepper plants ended up there. Here, there's a jalapeno there. I thought that was habanada, but they look more like ají crystal. But I think there are some habanadas hiding in there. There's a whole jalapeno plant right there. Some Swiss chard. A random poblano. And these are like mini snapdragons. There you go. With some pink and yellow. They were trying to grow everywhere. I had to pull a lot of them out this season. And finally, in this corner of the bed is where I had a artichoke growing well here in the beginning of the season, but the flowers, the Shasta daisies and black-eyed Susans that were growing there grew too tall, shaded them out, and they just didn't do well. And now that the sun can get through, they try to make a comeback, but I don't think they have enough time to produce anything. But I'll let them grow. This is a random grow bag. Now it has ground cherries in it. It was growing in the plant was growing in the beets bed, and I decided let me pull it and just throw it over here and see what happens. And it's growing. I shared this bed with you before. I have this fencing up here because I initially planted sweet potatoes. Let me move over so you can see it. I initially planted sweet potatoes. This was planted before I did the whole sweet potato bed. I just wanted to put some sweet potatoes in the ground, some slips in the ground, and see what would happen, and they took off. There are some that have some powdery mildew, so I'll deal with them tomorrow when we come out to do all the things. But one of the main things I want to show you over here, this is where I have all my sugar snap peas, my fall sugar snap peas. Didn't get very many in the spring because the rabbits love them, and now they are taller than the A-frame. And also some of the sweet potato vines are coming over here. So when we come out, I'll go ahead and pull them over back to the sweet potato side. There are also several volunteer tomato plants, and these are holdovers from last season, or should I say last year. And as many as we pulled out, they keep coming back. We had garlic in this bed over the winter last year and into the spring, and once we harvested them, this is what ended up here. But those tomatoes will not stop growing. I've pulled at least 100 tomato seedlings out of this bed throughout the garden season, and they just keep coming back. I'm so excited about the sugar snap peas, so keep you posted. Behind the sugar snap peas, I have some Tulsi basil or holy basil, and it's doing really well. I did get one harvest that I dried already, so I'm going to get another big harvest and also dry it and save it for tea. In this tower, I have a bunch of diseased, Swiss chard. I need to go ahead and pull it, but I think the most important thing I need to do is make a note not to plant any brassicas here next year. Definitely some sort of rust on these leaves, and it could still be in the soil next year, so I'll avoid brassicas in this bed just in case it has an affinity for brassicas. But this is also something I experimented with, which is putting celery in some of the top pockets. And it's doing okay. It's definitely small stalks, but the small stalks are super, super flavorful. Almost to the point of being too flavorful, like too much celery flavor. That makes sense. The celery that I've been harvesting from the most is in here. And those are similar to this kind of stalks, the size stalks you would get in the supermarket. So I think that's it. I'm gonna call this good. This is what's left of the 2025 garden, which is still a lot. If you look at that trellis, you wouldn't think so, but there's still a lot growing. I take that back. I forgot to share this bed with you. This is another kind of random bed. I still have some lettuce growing in here for the fall. There's some rosemary, and we have some volunteer purple dead nettle, which is a very good plant to have on hand for allergies. And I harvested some at the beginning of the season, but I may harvest more. I'll probably pull some of those though, not sure.